Hello students, greetings of the day. St. Joseph's College for Women Autonomous Vishakhapatnam welcomes to St. Joseph's open web-based learning platform. So e-learn for a soulful and enriching e-learning experience. Department of Commerce and Management of St. Joseph's College for Women Autonomous presents MOOC, St. Joseph's massive open online course. I am R. Pavani, Assistant Professor, Department of Commerce and Management of St. Joseph's College for Women Autonomous Vishakhapatnam. Would like to teach you Module 3 ERP Implementation in ERP. The first submodule is Planning Evaluation in ERP Implementation. This chapter outcomes are identify the need of planning an ERP systems, explain the planning process of ERP systems, identify the planning process in implementation of ERP, describe the evaluation of ERP systems. The contents are need of planning an ERP systems, planning process in implementation of ERP, evaluation of ERP systems. Now we are going to discuss how to plan a suitable ERP system for the business. An ERP system is a series of modules or software applications that collects data from sales, purchasing, finance, inventory, supply chain, manufacturing, and quality functions into a common database so that company can share the information, collaborate and coordinate activities in more organized way. The process of implementing ERP system includes extensive planning, sourcing ERP suitable as per need, evaluation of the ERP systems available, and final selection. So planning an ERP starts with a single software solution. It integrates the different functions and activities into a unified whole information needed for decision making, which is shared across departments. The action that one department takes results in the appropriate follow-up action up and down the line. Now we are going to discuss what is the need of planning an ERP system in the organizations. First of all, it offers a workable and efficient ERP system in place. Its savings in relation to energy consumption and data management. And also it chose to build an own custom ERP and program it from the bottom up. And it calculates the cost and complexity of taking on a huge project of can make a do-it-yourself approach or purchase on-premise ERP software and install it on company's computers and servers. And it integrates the system before always met with a stumbling block of different software and procedures, and it makes sure that the business has the staff resources in place to see the project through completion. And also it requires ERP experts who know the industry, know the ERP software chosen, and what it takes to implement on time and budget. Planning process and implementation of ERP is carried out in the following steps. The first step is understanding the existing system. It is important to understand that the implementation of a new ERP system will not simply create a return on investment or solve the issues of the business. These come from the process of improvements. The next step is defining goals. The process of implementation does not start with the initial inviting of suppliers to fill invitation to tenders. It starts with company defining the goals that the new ERP system will set out to achieve. And the next step is taking references. References are preferably taken with site visits and face-to-face contact. Important is that the customers acting on behalf of the vendor choose the product, and the vendor. This endorsement shows how the vendor and customer act in relationship as the reference of the supplier. The next step is groundwork and collaboration. In planning, once a business has come up with the clear defined goals that a new ERP system must achieve and define some tangible metrics to judge success, then the next step is to find the right product and the right vendor. So once it is decided on the software to meet the needs of the business, it is required to choose the correct vendor, not simply the vendor who helped define the software choice. The next step, cost planning and budget control. The most crucial step in planning process and implementation of ERP is budget. So every business organization is to be able to control a budget needed as a business to identify the real costs of ERP. These costs can include hardware, training, organizational change management, developments, staff cover for project members, and the software. So the next step is establishing project milestone. It requires planning for constant monitoring and change control where additional work is required. It is critical to establish project milestones, key sign-off points, and compare the progress at each stage and more frequently if possible to control the budget. And the next step, get support from management. It is very important part of planning that the top management supports ERP team's efforts and puts in an active involvement in the project. Then the next step is planning for resources. Everything involved or required in the ERP project is a resource of the business has direct control over. Priorities can be set and goals and milestones achieved. The software partner will also provide consultants to guide the business through the implementation. Then the next step is planning for consultants. The consultants can be limited to a single project, or if it is expensive, it is likely that they are assigned to multiple projects and it cannot be assumed that they will be available at short notice. These requirements must be planned and controlled. The consultants are also the initial knowledge holders and making them a part of the team to deliver a successful implementation is critical. The consultants should not be treated as an external isolated resources. They should be considered as part of deliverable team. And the next step is planning for the team. Planning an ERP system requires an internal project manager and team. At the same time, as the majority of businesses try to achieve this by assigning these roles to key members of the business, which we are going to discuss in the next coming slides. Then the next step is planning for implementation. ERP is the one system that makes information flow in organization well organized and regulated. Through implementing an ERP software solution can make a lot of things simple, and implementation of ERP can be a mind bender. Then the next step is make a final plan. Make an IT strategy plan and make sure it aligns with business objectives and requirements. Formalize the desired solution architecture and the necessary means for evaluation and upkeeping. The last step in the planning process is decide and start the project. The process can be challenging because of the level of detail that must be addressed. Ensuring the key steps are not overlooked, recognizing exactly what these steps are, preparing for them, and following a predetermined evaluation plan can help ensure an efficient and successful selection process. After successful planning process or in implementation of ERP system, we have to do the evaluation of ERP systems. Evaluation of ERP systems are essential criteria for successful ERP implementation. And quality of selection will have a long-term impact on the processes of the organization. It is also not easy to switch to another product with connected scale of investment and complexity. Having an ERP system in place implies having a single hardware system to handle the different requirements, translating into reduced power consumption, operating of a single database that translates into savings on storage. The savings generated from a minimum of hardware and storage coupled with operational efficiencies created from a single system across all departments translates into measurable profit for the company. An ERP solution is an integrated business system that provides a company with the decision support tools needed to effectively manage and grow its business. These different support tools create confusion at times. The process of evaluation provides an organization with access to the information that it needs when it needs it. Is it user-friendly format or not? The system as a whole allows each individual to work more efficiently and effectively with a higher degree of responsiveness and provides all the information that each individual within or organization requires to do his or her job. When a change occurs at any point, that information is updated accordingly, altering key personnel to changes in status when required. Management then has the ability to view this activity and make decisions based on current data and information. Thank you, students. Happy learning.